Have you ever been praying and felt like God really isn't listening? Or worse yet, maybe you feel like God is just mad at you because things are going so bad in your life. Well, let me ask you a question. Do you tithe? Now this is a topic that we're not so comfortable talking about, this idea of tithing. And yet what I want to suggest to you is that as we read the book of Joshua, chapter 6, 7, and 8, we see something about tithing that is really important for us to understand if we call ourselves Christians. You see, as Joshua enters the promised land, he tells the Israelites that they are to conquer this first fortified city, Jericho, but then everything that they gather from it, the gold, the silver, the bronze, all of that stuff, sort of the first fruits of the land, are to be devoted back to God. Now, this isn't something that God needs. It's just something that God asks for. And the reason he asked for it is to remind these people that God gave it to them in the first place. There's plenty more to come. Oh, God is going to supply plenty of stuff for the Israelites. He just wants this first fruit of the land, sort of the tithe of the land, to be devoted back to him. And yet as we read these chapters, what we discover is that's not what they do. Instead, one of them tries to hold on to it, to hoard it, the gold, the silver. It's just too much to let it go. And so rather than giving this tithe, they hide it. Well, did you know that in the Old Testament book of Malachi, God says that when we don't tithe, we literally steal from him? And in the New Testament, Jesus teaches that we ought to tithe as Christ followers. And so what are we to do with this? Well, the sad truth is, as much as we don't like to hear it, for many of us, our wallets are calling us a liar. You're a liar. You see, our wallets are saying, look, you say that you're a good follower of Christ. You say that you're a strong Christian. You say you're a devoted follower of Jesus. And yet we're not really following him in this area. And so my challenge to you today is to consider your wallet. Do you do what Jesus asked you to do? Tithe. If you don't, why not start today? Why not start getting on track with your finances in the way that God actually wants you to, and give back the first fruits to him? Oh, he's got plenty more that he wants to give you. In fact, if you continue reading that same chapter in the book of Malachi, you discover that God wants to pour his blessings out upon us. I'm not saying that you'll get rich. I'm just saying he wants to bless us tremendously if we will just be faithful in this one area, the tithe. Let's give our first fruits back to him. My name is Eric, and I am the 5-Minute Pastor.